Now, if you set Ocelot as the startup project and run the project, then it will open up a web solution. Now let's configure the default URL for our Ocelot project. So we will right click here and go in Properties. Here we have the Debug tab. When we are debugging, let's launch it with the project here, and that way we will only have to give one URL. So here we will give our gateway project a URL of 5050. This will be the URL that our front-end project will be using to access all of the microservices. So it just needs to remember one URL as compared to remembering all the URLs in the front-end project. Then our gateway will remember the individual URLs for all of the services that we have. So once we have this, let me save it. We have configured the basic URL here. Then what we want to do is our Ocelot will also be passing the tokens that it receives from the identity service. So for that we need to add authentication at the gateway level as well. So we will open up the startup project. Let me open any of the servers and copy the authentication that we have in configure service. We will copy the authentication and let me paste it right here. The URL for identity server stays the same, so we won't touch that, and we will add the using statement. Then we have to configure Ocelot in this project. So inside the configure services, we will say services.add Ocelot, and you can see we have to add the using statement for Ocelot.dependency injection. Inside the configure method, we have to configure the Ocelot endpoint. Now when we are using Ocelot, we do not require any other endpoint. Ocelot is self-sufficient and it will manage everything by itself. So here we will say await and we will call app.use Ocelot. We will have to add the corresponding using statements and we'll have to make this an async method. That's all that we have to do in order to add Ocelot to our project. Pretty straightforward. But we still need to configure the URLs. Let's do that in the next video.